if that had happened out at the first turn and he had to make the whole lap with that shredded tire, he wouldn't be in the lead right now.
Two great battles underway as Tracy closes on Goodyear, and here Al Unser Jr. is closing on Nigel Mansell, and Mansell is not showing the kind of attack in the corners he has earlier. Bobby, could he be fatiguing in that car?
Well, he could be getting tired, that's for certain sure. We expect that that's going to happen. This Long Beach track is one of the, look at how little Al is working around him. Now that was at the hairpin. Nigel is the only one that does a different group to that. Watch Nigel. Anytime we see it on camera that he gets into that hairpin. Total different group than anybody else. Might be the Loud's advantage.
Closing rate at a half a second a lap on Nigel Mansell by Al Unser Jr. And we said that that speed limit might affect the outcome of this race. Now they're reporting that they're going to black flag Scott Goodyear for exceeding the speed limit in the pit. So we'll look for that flag as well.
Those kind of speed limits in the pit are tough on the drivers. These guys are so keyed up come race day, they're wired for going fast. Then all of a sudden when they're told to go fast in the pits, it's very difficult. And even though it's necessary to do, it's very definitely hard on them, Paul.
So if in fact they black flag Scott Goodyear, that won't give Paul Tracy much breathing room at all, because Nigel Mansell is just 3 seconds back. Jack Arute, you have an update?
Yes, Paul. Scott Goodyear exceeded the speed limit entering his pit area. That's the reason for the stop and go. An update on the discussion as well as he undergoes the penalty. At the drivers' meeting, it was originally suggested the speed limit be placed at 90 miles an hour. That was agreed to by the IndyCar officials, car owners, and mechanics. The drivers lobbied and succeeded in getting the limit lowered to 70. Now you see what's happened.
Scott Goodyear fell to 4th place on that stop-and-go penalty and still has to come up to speed as Mario Andretti comes up behind him, and that makes this a fight for position. So Mario Andretti has the car that he needs to pass in front of him to get into 4th place, and Scott Goodyear, of course, is on fresh tires, while Mario Andretti's are up to full operating temperature.
Both Lola Fords. Both Lola Fords and the one right behind, same thing.
In previous years here, before they reconfigured the track, the winner often enjoyed a big margin at the end of the race. Now, the last 3 years, the margin has been 1.7 seconds, 3.8, and last year, just 0.6 of a second. So the reconfiguring of this great, historic Long Beach track has made a terrific difference. Here comes Little Al down the outside.
Al Unser Jr. looking for room.
Whoa!
Comes around to the inside, kind of tries to fake Mansell to one side, and he touches him. He touches Mansell, and you see the suspension drop on the back of Mansell's car. It looks like there is damage there.
A Little Al's car. The left front is bent. He's out of the race. Just a little touch like that sometimes bends him completely. That's the same place the Little Al touched Mario Andretti a couple of years ago. Same turn.
And an ongoing fight for second place there. Now Paul Tracy does have some breathing room, especially as we have to keep watch on Mansell's car. Little Al climbs out of the car, obviously not injured, but there's damage there. Nigel Mansell may also have damage. We look at it again. Here they come into the corner. Little Al looking for room. He set him up on this. They get together. It's hard to believe that Mansell's car doesn't have a problem too.
Well, it's on the rear. The rear's a lot stronger than the front, Paul. And the thing about it was that Little Al should have known that Mansell can't see him. That's in that blind spot of the cars, and Mansell had to be looking to the left. Little Al could have passed him on the outside. The road is just not wide enough.
Well, if it's going to affect Nigel, it hasn't appeared yet. Look at the way that lower control arm, to keep an eye on that, might be a slight bend to that on Nigel Mansell's car. So Paul Tracy is out in front of this run. Now Nigel Mansell is up into second place, and Scott Goodyear comes back up to third place, while Mario Andretti sits in fourth. Boycell is fifth. We'll be back after this message and a word from your ABC station.
The Toyota Grand Prix is brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tires. By your local Yamaha dealer, who invites you to see their exciting line of motorcycles, ATVs, and water vehicles. By Sears Craftsman, a line of 1,600 hand tools made in America. And by Armor All. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent.
Back at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, where Nigel Mansell is still the leader here, followed by Roberto Guerrero. Don't forget, coming up next month, ABC Sports heads to the Brickyard, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for the greatest spectacle in racing. Saturday, May 15th, we'll begin live coverage of the Indianapolis time trials. And then on May 30th, it's the Indianapolis 500 live live next month here on ABC. Al Unser Jr., the defending champion there. And the Speedway just this week announcing that there's going to be 2 great races for you in 94. On August 6th of 94, the Brickyard 400 for NASCAR, the Winston Cup cars. The phones were flooded at the Speedway, like 70,000 calls asking about seats and everything the minute that they made that announcement. Let's go to the pits.
Al, obviously great disappointment. Tell us what happened as you battled for that position.
Well, Nigel and we were running together, and he's just blocking very, very well, I guess, you know. And then I got him. He got a little bit too much blocking me on the inside going into turn 1. Put him on the outside of turn 2 entry, and it screwed him up a little bit. I was set up for it, and I did him on the outside. And then when we came off at turn 2 exit, he squeezed me against the wall.
Did you think you had him cleanly passed?
I had him covered. He knows exactly where I am when I'm behind him, but as soon as I got beside him, he lost where I was. So, which is BS. The guy, you know, what can I say?
All right.
We'll handle it.
Thank you, Al.
Al Unser Jr., his first DNF here at Long Beach since 1985. Pretty disappointed, Bobby.
Yes, I know he's very disappointed. You know, they've had such a hard time getting that car worked. The whole Gallus crew, they're all going to be so disappointed, along with little Al, because it's the first time this year they've had anything fast at all.
Yeah, but if it's working here, how's it going to work at Indy?
Well, what they've learned here will help every place because they've been so far behind, non-competitive at Phoenix by a long way. This is definitely a step forward for them.
Nigel Mansell now leads Guerrero by about 7.5 seconds. Oddly enough, that is the biggest lead that we have seen in the last 30 to 40 laps.
Behind Mario Andretti there is Eddie Cheever and Scott Pruitt, a battle for 9th place. Raul Boesel, who runs in 4th place right now, is trying to catch up to Mario Andretti. But he's got that other battle in between him, and those 2 guys aren't going to let up.
Of course, Boesel was 2nd and Andretti 1st at Phoenix 2 weeks ago. So this race in some ways, although very different, is starting to shake out with maybe headed toward the same sort of result.
You see Emerson Fittipaldi, there he is in the midst of all of this. Remember, he's about 4 laps behind the race. Early on, they changed the turbocharger component, and as a result, he had a long pit stop. Boesel now is trying to work his way forward as he splits up Scott Pruitt and Eddie Cheever and tries to chase Mario Andretti.
Boesel's been a guy that we've been watching all weekend, Paul, that's really been fast through some of the turns, really fast during the day at the end of the practice day. He's been struggling all of this race trying to get up. He's always there, but not quite having any luck going along with it. He's in the golden brown car right there, the number 9 car.
71 laps of the scheduled 105 lap distance, 167 miles, as Robbie Gordon in the midst of all that. In trouble again, and he touches Cheever. Then Fittipaldi stacks the brakes, so does Pruitt. And Arie Luyendyk comes to a stop in this turn. Is badly crowded now. They'll have to take incredible care. Yellow flags, I'm sure, flying all the way down Seaside. You can see these course marshals here. By the way, the course marshals are all volunteers, and they take incredible chances to try to keep this race going. They're here all week, and they do a magnificent job, as you see they're doing now. Luyendyk trying to get going, looking for help. He needs somebody to push him forward so he can get back into the run.
We just sat here and we can grunt for him, you know. I mean, he needs to get going. Unfortunately, this hairpin turn is so narrow and so hard to get through.
Here comes Mansell.
The tracks get blocked.
Mansell comes in, tries an inside line very carefully through the corner. Of course, the yellow flag is there, but still there's plenty of debris down there, and those cars are in the way.
You know, one of the biggest problems, Paul, is like you said, they don't want to run over anything.
So with lap 72 complete, Nigel Mansell heads for the pit area. He runs in the lead of this race. Gary Gerald, you there?
This is a real bonus for Nigel Mansell and the Newman Haas team because, Paul, they made that last stop at lap 58. That meant there were 47 laps to go to the finish. Not enough fuel to do it. Now they'll get the complement of fuel. He won't have to go any further as we go to Jack LaRue.
Well, Gary, they also completed a stop here with the Roberto Guerrero car who was running in 2nd. Let's check in with the drag master himself who runs this team, Kenny Bernstein. Now, can you run full fuel till the end?
Yes, we can. We're in good shape. Can't say enough about the Budweiser team. What a great job they've done.
They're going to go full open from here on in. Paul?
In the meantime, on the track itself, it looked like Mario Andretti, as we've got an injured crew member there, we'll keep track of this, looked like Mario Andretti, the yellow flag flying on the whole course, past Nigel Mansell coming out of the pits. Look here. Here is Mansell coming out. But watch as he comes out for a second car, and that's Mario, and he passes him. So Mario Andretti comes around Mansell, and these stops were made under the yellow, but remember, that doesn't matter in the pits. So Mario Andretti is now lined up in front of Nigel Mansell. Scott Goodyear lines up in third. We'll be back. Back at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, full course caution. One of the other great races during the weekend here at this entire festive event is the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race, which was run yesterday, and Sam Posey reports.
All right, see, what we're going to do is we got each other's back, right? We're going to be drafting back and forth, back and forth. I'm lap 9. I win.
Olympic star Mary Lou Retton led the pre-race calisthenics in her own special fashion. And then it was off to the races. 16 Toyota Celicas equally matched except for the drivers. Mary Lou showed both driving ability and guts as she outbraked Cuba Gooding Jr. to take the position. And then the wheel banging began. Crystal Bernard wished she could have sprouted wings to escape drag racer John Force as he pushed her forcibly aside. Then Mary Lou made ex-Raider Bob Golick feel like a quarterback as she sacked him into the tires. Radio host Sean Parr and John Queen both wanted the same piece of track. Neither got it. When the checkered flag flew, was motorcycle great Eddie Lawson, who added another title to his collection. Inside Editions, Rick Kirkham won the celebrity division. Kirkham showed that he was a pro when it came to working the champagne bottle. In a wild podium celebration, the bubbly bubbled over.
I started out great. I started out wonderful. I passed 2 people. I passed Cuba and I passed Steins, Mark Steins, on my second and third time around, and then I just played demolition ping pong ball there after turn 2. I don't know what lap it was. Hit the wall, hit the other wall, and hit the wall again 3 times. But I kept going.
And one of the stars, the pros this year, is the star of the great hit show on ABC, Coach Craig T. Nelson. 1 week a pro, 1 week an amateur. What